The Cleveland Browns about to start training camp, and they've got all the pieces to make a move. Not a lot of people are talking about them. They're a little bit under the radar. There's one position in particular that feels like, man, if there's one area, it feels like defensive tackle is one area that you'd like to just be a little bit better. But I'm going to tell you about a defensive tackle that you signed this offseason that is only upside and is primed for a breakout season. And everyone needs to keep their eye on him. If you're new to the channel, we make videos for and about teams that don't get the love nationally like they should. Cleveland Browns, prime example. We are Detroit Lions fans, so we know all about it. Our primary channel is Sports Talk Detroit. Check that out. But we know that the Browns are going to be good. You look at their roster. National media is not talking about them. They're talking about the other teams in the AFC. I get it. But you start looking at the roster, it looks pretty good. But there's one player in particular that nobody's talking about. Let's take a look at that. So the Browns are set to enter training camp. Andrew Berry has added a ton of talent to the roster this offseason. Jim Schwartz, defensive coordinator. Deshaun Watson's going to have a full season. But in particular with defensive tackle, Dalvin Tomlinson, love it. Maurice Hurst, Hill, and that's where it's at right here. It's Maurice Hill. That's what I wanted to stick on. Or Maurice Hurst, excuse me. Maurice Hurst has a unique story, and it's one that we have to dive into because this guy's poised to break out. Now, he went to Michigan, and so we're up here in Detroit, in Michigan. Great player. Was it at Michigan in 2015, 16, 17, something like that? Yeah, 2015, 16, 17. Had 60 tackles. 14 tackles for loss. He was all Big Ten defensive player, first team by both the coaches and the media. Okay, perfect. So he gets drafted by the Oakland Raiders in the 5th round. Remember, he was supposed to be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. I remember it because I was like, what's going on? He has a heart condition that was spotted, and it was something like, hey, if he plays, I mean, he could have some serious complications. Don't like it. He could possibly die on the field. I remember that too. Like, he could die while playing. So a lot of teams like, I don't think we want a guy on our team that could die. Like, I don't think we want that. So he falls all the way to the 5th round, and he was supposed to be a top 5, top 15 pick for sure. No later than 15. A defensive tackle that's quick, can move, can get penetration on the inside, can't stop the run as well. So he goes to the Raiders, does a lot of good things in 2018, 2019, and then 2020 hits. He gets placed on injured reserve / COVID list. 2020 season is ended. 2021, he goes to the 49ers. In 21 and 22, he was placed on IR for separate injuries. So if you look at it, plays well in 18, 19, heart conditions not a thing. Then 20, 21, and 22 all lost to injury. So this is his last kind of hurrah, right? Because I think he's 26, 20, no, he's 28 years old. Okay, so he's already 28 years old, but it feels like this guy is so close to breaking out. I saw him play at Michigan, and he was an elite defensive tackle for the Michigan Wolverines. And then he plays good for 2 years, and then he gets kind of just caught up in the COVID stuff. And the next thing you know, it's 2023 now, right? So the Cleveland Browns, I think, made a great acquisition in getting him. It's a 1-year deal. So if you look at the Cleveland Browns defensive depth chart, you can kind of see it's like Delvin Tomlinson, Elliott, Maurice Hurst. Like, this is where, if you're a Browns fan, you're kind of wondering, do we have enough defensive tackle wise? Because we love Garrett, and Zadarius Smith's great as well. So you've got Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith on your ends. So you really want your defensive line to be great, and especially in the AFC, Joe Burrow, the whole deal, like all the great quarterbacks, all the great teams in the AFC, you've got to get pressure on the quarterback. But I'm telling you that Maurice Hurst could be a secret weapon, under the radar signing. You get him for cheap. And that's the thing, defensive tackles, and I think this is a great signing because defensive tackles are not walking around out there, just walking the street. And the good ones, you got to pay up for them. So it's like, well, okay, I get that. And that's the thing. So the options out there for the Cleveland Browns, there aren't many. So you got to roll with what you have. And luckily for you, Andrew Berry got Maurice Hurst. Again, he's had 3 years of just kind of bad luck. What if he's healthy? What if he's healthy and the Maurice Hurst that we know, he's a veteran player now. He knows how to work his body. He knows how to get healthy. He's 28 years old. He could be a standout stud for you. And I know it's an under the radar signing because it was a guy that I kind of was watching this offseason, and it kind of went, it just, you didn't hear a lot of people going for Maurice Hurst. Then he kind of goes, and it's just not a minimum deal, but basically, and it's like, man, this is a good player. So let me know your thoughts in the comments on Maurice Hurst and just the Cleveland Browns in general, because we've looked at this team and it's like, why is more people not talking about this team? You have the only question mark before I go through the roster would be the head coach. Is he fully there? I don't know, because you got the defensive coordinator, check. You've got Watson, Chubb, Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore. We looked at David Bell, Donovan Peoples-Jones could be a breakout. Njoku and Atkins are the top tight end pair according to PFF. Offensive line is really good. Defensive line, we're just talking about it. You got the best edges in the game. Linebacker, I feel good about that. And then defensive, what if Denzel Ward can really have a good year? Martin Emerson, we looked at him earlier on. Rodney McLeod, a veteran that's been with Jim Schwartz, knows how to run the defense. Emerson is like going to be a starter. Okay. Just by the way, I mean, this guy is great. Could break out this year. Newsome could be really solid. Denzel Ward needs to just be consistent. And now all of a sudden the defense going to be better. I don't get it with the Cleveland Browns. Now, the only thing I get is that you're in the AFC North, tough, and you're in the AFC. So if the Cleveland Browns are in the NFC, they're going to be in the NFC Championship game, but they're in the AFC, so it's going to be a little bit harder, but they have all the pieces to do it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Again, if you're new to our channel, we make videos about teams that the national media just doesn't care about, because we're Lions fans. We know what that's all about. We know that I can't stand, especially, Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets. That feels that even more. But you got the New York teams, you got the LA teams, the Cowboys, the Bears, some of these Steelers, classic teams that everybody talks about and wants to know what's going on. But we see that the Browns have made the right moves, have the quarterback in place, a full year of Deshaun Watson. I don't know. It's like kind of, I'm just saying from an outsider's perspective, I'm not a Cleveland Browns diehard. I'm just looking from the outside. I can say that they look pretty good. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see all of you on the next